Coming up on the GenGAMEcast,
we have $1 million RTS battles.
An attempt to discuss the Xbox 360's new matte finish devolves into rants about the GameCube.
Gears of War 3 D?
and Counter-Strike gets an update. Spoiler, nothing changes. All that and more coming up on the GenGAMEcast. Hey, and welcome to the GenGAMEcast for Monday, August 15th, 2011. I'm Trevor Miani, and today joining me on the podcast is...
Gilbert Warner.
Kyle Riggs-Rigwing.
And George Picard.
Who has been replaced by a jersey. Look at that. He's gotten 400% less annoying overnight.
Or 400% more annoying overnight, depending on your view.
Yeah, I don't know. A talking jersey might be quite annoying. But let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Now
Let's go ahead and jump right into what are you playing. So we'll start from back to forward. So we'll let the talking jersey get his segment in.
I'm a talking cheesehead now, actually.
Oh God, he's a talking cheesehead.
I've been playing League of Legends, actually.
Yeah, big surprise. Big surprise.
Well, I've been playing League, and we'll get more into that later. But I've been playing a lot of Madden, obviously, because the release is August 30th, and I have to get back into the swing of things. Don't put your thumbs down as I win thousands of dollars, and you sit there and don't play Madden for thousands of dollars. That's fine.
For those of you unaware, George is a professional Madden troll.
Professional Madden troll right here. Thank you.
So we'll move right along to Mr. Kyle Riggs-Wrigley. What have you been doing this past week?
I have been playing the crap out of Twisted Metal 2.
Anything else this week, or was that just way too much awesome for 1 week?
A little bit of Spyro, mostly Twisted Metal.
Cool. Gil.
Nice.
I have been playing Solitaire on the iPod.
Hang on.
That is what I've been playing.
Solitaire with the click wheel. With the click wheel.
No. This is iPod Touch. I mean, it's not on
Oh.
Solitaire right now, but it is iPod Touch, so it's,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
I get the
We're
touch.
upgrading here. We're upgrading.
Yeah, it's incredible. I can't put it down. It's like playing Solitaire with real cards, except it's
Except
just on
not
my
really.
iPod screen. I can't describe how amazing this game is in words. It really is incredible, and I think a lot of people are missing out. Yeah, check out Solitaire on the iPod Touch. It will blow your mind.
It will blow your mind. Well, I'm not going to
The
forget
Gen Game
my...
podcast is not sponsored by Apple or any of its affiliates.
Yeah, please no.
Okay, now that I'm not going to forget myself here, I've been playing Team Fortress 2, and I found out that I actually do work as a heavy. I just found out I could just play as heavy, and just people are like, yo, man, I'm just going to go with you and just stand behind you because you're just going to kill everything. That's it.
It's good news.
Yeah, it is good news. It is good news to know that people will trust you. It's like you play as the heavy, people just follow you because they're like, oh, whoa, he's got a lot of health, so they're going to shoot for him because he does a lot of damage. Meanwhile, I'm just mowing people down. My minigun medics are just buffing me and all sorts of great things.
Yep.
I usually play as a heavy, or at least I did play as a heavy when I could play games. And when I did play for Team Fortress 2, which was rare, I did play as a heavy because it was the only one with like any type of machine gun, which I still don't understand why Valve doesn't like assault rifles. I don't get it, Valve.
Well,
Why do you hate my M16?
We're going to talk a bit more about some games that might have some assault rifles in it later on, made by Valve. But first, we want to go ahead and thank one of our sponsors for this show, which is mcpub.org, the official Minecraft server of GenGame.net. Go ahead and play with us online anytime at mcpub.org. Just direct your Minecraft client there. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump to the first story on the list here, which is Dota 2. We've got some new pictures and a tournament that'll be starting Wednesday. So we'll go ahead and we'll throw this over to George because he's got something to say about it.
Yeah, with the Dota International Tournament starting on Wednesday, it is the $1 million tournament. It should last about 4 days. It starts in Germany. With that, there's been some images linked. They were supposed to be taken from about a few months ago, but we're not really positive on the actual date. They're just leaked images for now. It looks pretty good. It's apparently not what it's going to be up to at the time Valve releases it, but still pretty exciting news for Dota fans out there.
Yeah, definitely. The game is starting to look really good, but the big issue is, will it do enough to thwart the mass amount of people playing League of Legends and all the other free-to-play RTS games, as Riggs yawns?
Can I ask a question that will potentially cause rage?
Oh, boy.
That's fine.
What is Dota?
Oh,
I was
my
going to ask
God.
that, actually.
I hear people talking about it a lot, but all they ever say is, "Oh, Dota! Dota's amazing! Dota!" It's like, okay, well, what does Dota stand for?
Stands for
Dota
I hear
stands
George
for
talking about it a lot.
Dota stands for
That's
Defense
it.
of the Ancients.
Okay.
It was a custom Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne game that basically blew up.
It was a
It
mod
was-
that turned into a game, essentially. That's
It turned
all you
into
need
a
to
game.
know.
Yeah.
That's the long and
Yes.
short of it.
Yep. That's basically all you need to know. Valve bought it from IceFrog and has made it well, they're trying to make it, the best RTS out there that you need to have.
Yeah, but if it's Valve, you know it's going to be somewhat good. I mean, people are going to put money
Oh, yeah.
down on this game, and it's going to get the Steam platform behind it.
Yep.
It has to be good if it's got Steam behind it.
Well, I mean,
pretty good
not
logic.
necessarily, but
Well, I mean, at least the distribution channels are going to work. Unlike Origin.
there you go.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to some more cash prizes. League of Legends is putting up a $5 million prize pool to trump the Dota 2 $1 million tournament. And this is for Season 2. And again, we're going to toss it over to George because he's the RTS player in the crowd here. Or rather, the Dota clone player in the crowd.
Just to take a step up on what Dota's trying to do with their $1 million tournament, League of Legends, which is very surprising by Riot Games, has decided that their Season 2, which just started, for those of you that don't know, will have a $5 million prize pool, which is pretty incredible considering League of Legends is a free-to-play RTS, unlike Dota, because technically, originally, Dota, you needed Warcraft 3, so you had to spend like $20 on probably the battle chest to buy. League of Legends is totally free, and $5 million is kind of a lot of money to throw out there, hoping that people are just going to latch onto it. But we'll see how that goes, I guess.
Interesting. I that's a lot of money, and I guess a lot of people must be buying those Riot points.
Yeah, well, that's
Have you
the only
bought
way
any?
they're making any money.
Have
is
you bought any,
is by
George?
buying Riot points to you could skin your champions or just get new champions quicker instead of playing through 1,000 games. You could just purchase Riot points, and I guess that's how Riot's making their money. But I still can't imagine that's a lot of money.
I mean, even still, that's a lot of money. There's got to be some sort of VC behind this, funding this whole operation. There's no way they're making that much money.
Yeah, I don't think so. But we'll see.
I just want to say, I maybe I'm just an old man now, and
Here comes the crotchety old man speech.
and maybe this is just the old way of thinking. But whatever happened to just paying for a game and then everything in the game is just free and you just play the game and you enjoy it and it's fantastic.
Nintendo
I
still
feel
does
like
that.
I'm gonna get to. I'm like 26 now. Okay, 24 years later. I'm gonna be 50. I feel like I'm gonna be 50 and I'm gonna be talking to a kid about a game and he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I'm playing this game and I just bought for like $20 this new piece of armor and this sword. It's awesome, man." And I'd be like, son, back in my day when I played games, I just paid for the game itself and everything, and it was free. And he'd be like, "Oh, come on, you're messing with me."
There's no way it worked that way. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
The difference is that sword and armor are going to actually be required to beat the game.
Yep. And right now, at least for the time being, it just it rewards the people that play a lot because they still do get to unlock the same things, just not at the same speed. as the people that are going to throw in hundreds of dollars, which is fine. Those are generally the noobs, anyways.
Alrighty. So now on to some of the more not so interesting tidbits of the week. Looking at some of the news coming out of Microsoft from Major Nelson's vlog, the Xbox 360 is going matte only. That's right. No more shiny Xbox 360s. Let's toss to the peanut gallery.
Whatever.
Whoop-de-doo.
Why am I the only one sad about this?
Who cares? It's
Why
a
do I
console.
wanna-
I don't.
Why do I want a console that attracts fingerprints like George attracts ugly chicks?
Oh, that was a shot below
mean.
the belt.
That was a little low. I'm sorry. I was grasping.
It's all right.
You got the balls.
That.
Fact of the matter is, how often are you just grabbing a hold of your Xbox? I don't know what you do in your free time, but I'm not carrying it around all the way.
When the Xbox misbehaves, you grab it, you pick it up, and you shake it like a baby that's misbehaving. You go, ah.
You don't want to have your Xbox showing those fingerprints. That way, if Xbox Protective Services comes into your house and they see your Xbox, you don't want them to jump to any conclusions. That you
Little
The
side
Gen Game
story.
podcast does not support shaking babies.
No,
it doesn't.
I don't know if anyone could see that little scar on my finger. Anyways, I don't know. That's probably kind of blurry.
No.
Anyways, I sliced my finger open pretty bad. I had to get 6 stitches in it by breaking an Xbox, actually. I don't know if anyone here knew that.
What?
Yes.
The Xbox got its revenge.
Yes. My friend's Xbox got the Red Rings of Death, and we decided that we were going to just blow it up, I guess. So we just take it, we're tossing it to each other, we're smashing it with a bat, and I decided to pick it up and just chuck it into the ground. Meanwhile, most of the plastic was off, so just a nice big piece of metal slashed my finger open. And I had to get rushed to the hospital.
Wow.
It was a fun time.
I don't know what that has to do with 360 going matte. However, I will say,
well, we know. Actually, I do know.
The
what
look
it
of the
means.
console isn't important. Okay,
I think the look
this
of
is
the
going to be the
consoles.
same old story you've heard for years. Looks aren't important, people. It's what's inside that matters. Okay.
Don't let the old man convince you.
Well,
A lot
the
of people
PS3
got-
proved that looks are at least a little bit important because that is an ugly piece of crap.
All right. Here comes
I mean,
the Sony hater.
Think of the GameCube. I mean, when it launched, it's like in purple and black. It didn't look great, but it played fantastic.
You know what,
And
Gil?
that's
I
what was
want to
important
interrupt
about
you there.
about the GameCube.
Gil, I don't think the GameCube looked ugly. In fact, I thought it actually was pretty awesome. And to
I have
be
the
honest,
silver ones.
I
I think it looks awesome.
I
too.
took my GameCube around with me because it had a handle on it. It was very
Yep.
convenient to take with me.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I like the
Or maybe-
purple and black. Looking at the
But
background
think
of
about the. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's all.
I think Nintendo
nice.
has some of the best console design because they're very minimalist. Everything is there for a reason. And I think the look of the console is actually very important, especially for the people that aren't looking at specs. They're looking at what this thing
gonna
looks
say.
like.
I was about to
Honestly,
say because nothing's in it. So
The GameCube was built like a tank. I remember the first time I accidentally got mad and yanked on my controller and it pulled the console off the coffee table in mid gameplay and just smashed right into the ground and the game didn't even hiccup. You try doing that with a 360.
yeah,
You know,
right.
that happened to my GameCube,
Actually-
and my GameCube broke into 4 pieces.
Actually, it's
It was
funny
a
that you
coffee
mentioned that,
table,
Rick.
not a 3-story building.
After Halo 3 came out, right? I had a friend. I had 2 friends with Xboxes, and we decided to do for Halo 3 the whole campaign 4-player system link. All right, because one of my friends had 2 TVs, so we take the one friend's Xbox over to the other guy's place, hook it up, and before we even start playing. The friend who owns the house and the 2 TVs bumps the table that or he's like trying to move it, or she was trying to move it or something, and my friend's Xbox slammed onto the ground and destroyed his copy of Halo 3. We ended up going to Walmart to buy a new copy, but surprisingly his Xbox was fine and still works to this day. Except for that, he doesn't. He bought one of the Halo Reach Xboxes because he wanted a. I don't remember why, but he wanted a bigger hard drive, and so he got a new Xbox.
Did he like the sounds?
I love the sounds of the Reach Xbox. I miss my Reach Xbox. You know why? I miss it because the power supply died.
The sounds are cool, but I really am not a fan of the touch-sensitive buttons.
I got over that very quickly because I use a Logitech Harmony remote.
Every time I try and reach behind it to like move the Ethernet, we're one Ethernet cable short in the living room here, so that actually has to get juggled. But every time I try and reach around behind my Xbox, my muscular forearm hits the CD tray eject.
Riggs, I'm gonna send you like a 16-port switch.
Dude, how long of an Ethernet cable do you need?
No, it's the
not
number
length,
of ports
it's
on the
number of
router.
ports.
It's not the length.
Oh.
That's why I offered to send him a 16-port switch.
I have a 150-foot Ethernet cable that we're using to only go about 15 feet.
That's like me going 100
Holy
feet
shit.
around the studio. I could wrap the whole studio twice with this Ethernet cable.
Wow.
Yeah,
That was what we used. That's what we used in Afghanistan to LAN party our Xboxes.
Awesome. Alrighty, let's move on because that was supposed to be like a stub article, and not go on to being like a 20-minute discussion about Xboxes. But then George sliced his finger on one, and and Gil had a very touching story, so we just let that
And then
go.
we started talking about GameCubes.
Yeah, I don't know how GameCubes got in there, but
Nintendo always comes up somehow.
It's because we were talking about how the console looks, and a lot of people did not find the GameCube attractive, like the purple one.
I love the black one.
That was
Black
not
one
an
was
invitation to start talking about it again, Gil.
all right, we're moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on to Battlefield
That was the
3
point.
pre-order freebies.
Yay!
In case you were going to buy it for the PC and you pre-order it in the month of August, EA is going to give you a free game on Origin, provided you maintain your account.
Not worth it.
So the article comes from Ars Technica, and we'll. I believe there's quite a list of games you can get here. Some of them are actually pretty good.
I actually think at this point, Trevor, we should go ahead and pass this over to Riggs, who has a lot to say about Origin.
Well, let's go over which games they're gonna give you, because they could be giving you either
Mass Effect 2,
Mass Effect
Dead
2,
Space 2,
Medal of Honor, which is not bad.
Good stuff.
I mean, yeah, for free. I mean, why not?
Free is never bad. There's no such thing.
Unless
maybe
it's
a
the
few
Origin service. But we're going to toss this over now to Riggs, who has a nice little piece on the Origin service. The floor is yours, my friend.
Origin sucks. Thank you. No, I mean, where do you want me to start?
Just anywhere.
I guess with that segment.
The games being offered are it's a nice selection of popular to semi-popular games. But the games that they actually chose, whether or not the games turned out to be all that great, they were very, very hyped releases. So they're games that almost everyone has played or already decided that they don't want to play.
I think it's a good move, though, because it just gives people more access to the games. Like, for example, I blew through
Nothing
those
about
games.
Origin gives people more access to any game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's free.
EA,
Okay.
with their online, has always been about
Nickel and dime.
almost
Nickel and dime.
basically removing access to game. Like
They're
between
almost as
people and their
bad as
games.
Ubisoft.
In a way, they're worse. Like, okay, so you remember the Spore fiasco, the digital download Spore?
Oh, God, that was a disaster.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
That is still the case with Origin. I actually downloaded Spore like an idiot. Did not purchase a disc. Did not pay for extra time to re-download the game. And when I built my newer computer that I use now, I can't play Spore anymore.
Without purchasing
Not
again,
because
yeah.
not because of the carpal tunnel, but because it was on a hard drive that I'm no longer using, and it's not possible for me to. It's not possible for. There's no installer. I can't say like I figured there would be an installer. I was wrong. There's no installer. Once it installs, it's gone. It's on your computer. If something it's basically like it's like the 3DS. If you download a game on your 3DS and something happens to your 3DS, oh well, too bad.
Yeah, Nintendo really needs to fix that, because I think it's a major issue to not be able to get the games you paid for. And I think that's actually one factor that encourages piracy of games, is not being able not being able to get access to the games you paid for. I mean, I'd gladly buy a game, but I mean, like, say for example, like Roller Coaster Tycoon, I purchased that game like twice. I don't purchase it anymore.
It's
I need to re-download it.
Still a great game.
Yeah. But I mean, it's simple. Like if you buy legit copies of games, eventually something's going to happen. You're not going to be able to access the game anymore. If you try and regain access to the game, that's illegal. You're a criminal.
And I think they need to change either the terms of use, or create easier ways and faster ways for users to get their content back that they legally paid for. And I think Steam is doing it right.
Just put it on Steam,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works too.
And that's a big issue. If you don't log into your EA account, your Origin account for 2 years, your account gets terminated. You can't even play the games on the machine you originally installed them on.
I mean, 2 years 2 years is a long time, but to put a 2-year limit on it is kind of ridiculous. Because, for example,
I mean, I understand that 2 years is a long time, but stuff happens, man. People get deployed. People go to prison.
Yeah, for example, I purchased Counter-Strike on back in, I don't know how long ago, when I was in high school.
That's an excellent example.
Freshman year of high school. And I didn't touch Counter-Strike again until I was in my freshman year of college. That's 3 years, and I didn't have Steam installed for 2 of them. If that was Origin, it would have been gone.
That would have been the end of it.
But when the Orange Box came out and it was real big, Valve had a similar thing to the Orange Box that they were offering on Steam, and it was essentially like $50 for basically almost every Valve game that was out at the time. And I bought that in 2007, and my laptop couldn't play any of the games at the time. And so I bought that and never touched any of them until earlier this year. And everything's still there. My account wasn't deleted. I have infinite access to all my games. And Valve's gone out of their way to set up an emergency thing where all their games will still work if the authentication servers go offline. Like if Valve goes bankrupt, or if Steam goes bankrupt.
Not likely.
Not going to happen. But the plans are in place. And if that happens also, they have already paid other companies to keep up Valve's download servers for the rest of, essentially forever. For the rest of my lifetime. I will be able, in 20 years, say Valve goes bankrupt tomorrow, in 20 years I'll still be able to download Team Fortress 2.
And odds are you'll still be able to play Team Fortress 2.
Yeah. Again, it probably won't be worth playing at that point in time,
I still think it'll still be worth it.
Able to.
It's like Counter-Strike. Team Fortress 2, in my opinion, has usurped the position of what Counter-Strike was, which was the first-person shooter that anybody could play.
And Counter-Strike back in the day was free anyways because nobody paid for it.
It was a mod.
Yeah.
It originally started out as a mod, and then 1.6, which is basically like what everybody has, and then Source came out, and then now they're actually teasing a new one that actually they just demoed off to a bunch of professionals, which we'll be talking about later on. But let's move on to our next story on the list, which is another laugher, which I had to pad this podcast with a bunch of funny stories. And Mortal Kombat is actually doing quite well. They sold close to 3 million copies worldwide, and the game has paid for itself. And the funny thing is that they came out and they made a story about it just to say, hey, we didn't do so bad.
We didn't lose millions of dollars.
We didn't fail.
Good job by
Hey,
them.
Mortal Kombat sells.
We've made $40 so far.
Well, I mean, Mortal Kombat was in a very bad situation prior to this release. I mean, they weren't on any of the major fighting game circuits. With the release of this game here, they finally made it onto the professional fighting game circuits. So it's now viewed as a legitimate game. And Bifuteki was excited about that. We were just talking with him.
Yeah.
Andre from Bifuteki.com. Have you guys played the new Mortal Kombat?
I have not,
No.
unfortunately.
I mean, carpal tunnel aside, I have not played Mortal Kombat since Mortal Kombat 2 on the Super Nintendo. Back when I was like, I don't know, between 5 and 10, I'm not even sure. Older
Genesis
than 5,
is
for
better.
sure. I guess, when did the Super Nintendo came out? I don't remember. That's how long ago I've played it, is that I don't really remember it at all. It's just Mortal Kombat just kind of fell off, I think. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like it's lost its relevance.
Other games came in and took its place.
Well, I mean, the original game got really popular just on large part due to its shock value for the extremely gory fatalities, and that's just.
And they went away from
video game
that.
players have been so decent. Well, they went away from that because DC made them.
Yeah.
But I mean, video game players have become so desensitized to that it's really like the gimmick isn't working for them anymore. It's all about core gameplay now, and
that's good. I think we've finally gotten past the gore factor, and we're getting back to the values that really make a game good, and that's the gameplay. I don't care if you could tear somebody's spine out and whip them across their face with it.
But you used to, though. You can't admit that, you know?
Yeah, we used to care about that.
You used to.
We're very
definitely
fickle.
care about it.
Us gamers are very fickle. We change what we want on any second. We could just be like, you know what? No, we want the gore again. We want the gore. Bring it back.
now I want to be able to rip people's spines out in Team Fortress 2.
Oh, I
would
thought you
also
were going to
say
say,
that-
like, in the grocery store or somewhere like that.
No.
You know,
would
sometimes
also
I
say
wish I
that
could do
one
that.
One of the kind of gimmicks that made Mortal Kombat, what made Mortal Kombat different and exciting were the graphics, where it was like, it wasn't like a digitally created sprite. It looked like a picture of a person that had been made to move and do all those things. It was different from the
Different from
graphics,
anything
made
else
it look different than
there.
everything else, and I think that drew people to it. But that's not the case anymore. Those kind of graphics, no one would like them now. So they have to look like every other fighting game. The only difference is that it's darker and there's the gore, and that's just not enough.
Unless they could pull a picture perfect, photorealistic, like live action look, that would be pretty awesome.
I still
I
think
think-
we're years away from that.
I think that would get pretty disturbing pretty quickly. I don't think
Yeah,
I
but
don't think
that's-
people would want the gore if it was a photorealistic game.
And some people would.
Yes, those people are called psychopaths.
And we know
Yes,
what
and they
Riggs
make
wants
up
it.
a large amount of society. Not really. I have not really played a Mortal Kombat game since Mortal Kombat 2 on the Genesis, which was the superior system, by the way.
Boo.
Ooh.
Super
All right.
Nintendo for the win.
Yeah, Super NES was definitely better.
Oh,
But
wait,
anyways,
what? Oh yeah, I forgot
Anyway-
about that I forgot about that Super Nintendo CD drive. Oh wait,
I'm
Oh
fine.
yeah, the
I'm fine
CD
with my
drive
car-
on the Genesis was so fantastic.
yeah, it was actually for its time. It was amazing.
How about all those
kidding?
attachments?
The CD drive was just another attachment that leached off the Genesis. They might as well have just made a new console rather than just, attaching everything to the Genesis.
32.
I
There
think-
was a whole bunch of awesome games for Sega CD.
Honestly, the argument is pointless. Let's just look at the Super Nintendo, how long it lasted with the hardware it had, And Nintendo didn't. They
Look at
didn't
the Super
release
Nintendo.
any attachments.
Now look at me.
The closest thing you got was the Game Boy Player, or the Super Game Boy. I think it was just the Game Boy Player. Maybe it was
So
called the Super Game Boy.
why was the
Super Game Boy.
Genesis the #1 selling console around the world until like 6 years after the PS2 came out?
I mean,
They must have
Nintendo
counted
stopped
all the
making Super
accessories.
Nintendo.
right. Thank you.
And why'd they do that if it was so awesome?
Because they released a new console.
Because they were ahead of everyone else. Yeah. Anyways, I think we should
All right, let's move
probably get on the
on.
next topic here.
I love this.
actually wouldn't
All
mind
of the
keeping going.
topics have gone like so badly off course. It's like we start really focused. Like, yeah, so we're talking about this, and then whoop.
Yeah.
Welcome to having me on the podcast.
Yeah, well, this is why the previous episodes have gone much more streamlined as opposed to this episode. Alrighty,
Anyways.
let's move on to a game that actually might end up in my Steam library, which is Rage, because they came out and they confirmed it that Rage will be using Steamworks, and that's great, right, guys?
I don't know anything about Rage.
It's good though. It uses Steamworks. This is a EA published game that Bethesda published game that will be using Steamworks to manage cloud saves, achievements, and multiplayer support.
Distribution.
Yeah, distribution's important. Just a little bit. Just a little important.
Just a little bit.
Just a tad. Just
Yeah.
a little tiny bit.
So hey, next
How long
topic.
is
What's
it?
Counter-Strike Go?
Counter-Strike, it's Counter-Strike Geo for global operations, and this is what we were teasing before. The new Counter-Strike game that a bunch of professionals were allowed to go test out, and this story comes courtesy of G4. Surprising, right?
Oh,
Yeah, right.
And they got an interview.
Tech TV.
Yeah, they did. They got a write up from Craig Torbol Levine. Torbol was one of the top 20 Counter-Strike Source players who were invited by Valve to test out Counter-Strike Global Operations. Global Offensive, sorry. Why did I think Operations?
Yeah,
Global
yeah.
I don't know.
Offensive.
Global Operations sounds pretty good. Actually, that could be
That could be the expansion pack.
Go to.
And
that's-
surprisingly, what's good about it
Yep.
is it's building off what's good about Counter-Strike, the core gameplay, but it's going to be using the updated Source engine that we saw in Portal 2. So it's going to look so much better and not look like the game came out of the 90s. Or the early 2000s, I should say.
the
Because
best thing about the game so far is that the maps they played on were Dust, Dust 2, Inferno, and Nuke.
which
which
means
every Counter-Strike
nothing
Source player
has
loves.
changed.
Yes.
They have added some new weapons, though, and that's actually pretty exciting because that's going to change the dynamic of the game quite a bit.
What weapons?
They are going to add the... I actually don't know right offhand which ones they were adding.
They didn't really say.
I
They,
don't
they
think
said
it was. Yeah.
I don't think
they said heavy machine gun rifles, pistols, and a new shotgun.
They also
you know
are
what?
adding Molotov cocktails,
Ooh,
Yeah,
yes.
come to think
which
of
is
it,
$850
I don't even know why I
in-game
asked.
dollars.
I don't even know why I asked. I had a bad experience with the first Counter-Strike, and I have not touched Counter-Strike since. So
Did
also have
something like that
Counter-Strike-
Freddie Wong video
Counter-Strike
happen to you?
sucks.
Did something
whoa.
like that Freddie Wong video happen to you where somebody was using aimbot?
Let's get it straight, Gil. Let's get it straight. League of Legends sucks. Madden sucks. Counter-Strike doesn't suck. It might not be great.
Let's get it straight here. It's the most popular game worldwide.
Do you want to know why?
Actually,
Want to know
no,
why
no, it's not.
Counter-Strike sucks? Because
It's the
it
most
had
popular
the
first-person
Xbox
shooter.
Live community before
Solitaire
Xbox
followed
Live
by
community.
Minesweeper are the two most popular computer games worldwide.
First person shooter.
Hold on. Do you want me to explain myself, or do you guys want to argue about what games are more popular worldwide?
No.
I don't know,
That's
I
fine.
wasn't listening to you. What are you explaining about?
I'm my experience with Counter-Strike was okay. There's a place here called Digital Ops. You go in, you pay like $5. You can play computer games on a high-end PC for like an hour or whatever, right?
a
My little
cyber
brother
cafe.
loved going there. Yeah, it's sort of, not really a cafe, but
They're called cyber cafes.
That's what they're called, anyways.
Well,
Yeah. Okay.
this wasn't really anyway, not important. The important part is that my little brother loved going here, so I decided to go with him once. And because he kept talking about Counter-Strike. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. I load up the game, and it's like, all right, I see 2 teams here. And, this team has fewer people than the other team. I will join the team with less people, because that makes sense.
Mistake number 1.
I always join the team with more players, Gil.
And the second I do, everyone starts yelling at me, going, "What the switch teams? What are you doing? Get on the other team. We're gonna boot you, even if you're at ops." And I'm like, okay. And so I try to switch teams. It's like, no, you can't switch teams. And so I go. It's like, all right, I'll tell them I can't switch teams. So I start typing, it won't let me, and I get booted within 2 seconds. They don't even give me the opportunity to say, hey, it's not letting me switch teams.
Well, then you weren't playing on a ranked server then, because when you're playing on the ranked servers, they auto balance the teams.
Yeah, so so that was my first experience with Counter-Strike, and I was like, wow.
Do you know my first experience with Counter-Strike, particularly Source, I got to play it at this strategy camp, and I'm like, I'll give this a shot. And the first game I played, I got destroyed. I didn't even get to land a shot on anybody. I was just like, okay, and we're going to zoom in, and I'm dead. That was it.
It's not an easy game to jump into.
Yeah, it's not a game that you can just jump into. It's a game that takes practice. I mean, like anything now. I mean, you need a lot of skill to be good at Counter-Strike. Well, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say a lot of skill, but you need some sort of high twitch reaction to play it.
I would say the same is true of a lot of first-person shooters these days.
Yeah, but the mouse and keyboard is just a little bit harder.
Yeah, I would say forget that. Forget mouse and keyboard. Forget the controls. It's not even the controls, because moving around and aiming is simple enough. Moving around, aiming, and shooting—that's the basic premise of a first-person shooter. So forget the other controls. Forget changing weapons. You don't need that. You need to be able to move, aim, and shoot. All right, most people can do that right off the bat. At least, like they can move around and they can and they can't necessarily aim, but they can shoot.
Any person that's played a game or even used a computer can probably do that. Yes.
Yeah. But take someone who's used a computer. Take someone who's never played a first-person shooter before. It'd be the same story no matter what they played, whether it was Counter-Strike, whether it was Battlefield, whether it was Halo, and I'm talking multiplayer matches here, not campaign, which explains everything and gives you time. Toss anyone that's never played into a multiplayer match. Of course, I mean, it's going to be the same thing.
It's a little bit different with Counter-Strike though, because I feel like the community is more dedicated.
The community is a bigger jerk.
You're just describing everyone on every online service on every game ever.
Can I mention more things about the actual game first before we switch topics?
Yeah, so some of the new
things... They decided to also throw in a terrible feature that we had to deal with in Black Ops. We have decoy grenades now in Counter-Strike. I don't know how anyone feels about that.
Well, they're not what they are. They're not like, well, in Black Ops, you don't have decoy grenades. You have flashbangs and you have concussion grenades.
You have
decoys?
Decoy grenades as well.
Really?
Yes. They're really stupid. They make
you don't know about them because no one ever uses them.
Nobody uses them.
Incredibly fake shooting sounds and make smaller dots appear on the map that are blatantly obvious, not a person.
Yeah, that's essentially what the decoy grenades are going to be doing in Counter-Strike Global whatever.
Global offensive.
Global offensive. Global whatever.
Global operations.
Oh, and they're also tweaking the full Kevlar cost. So not every noob can jump into the game and just buy it.
Well, what they were toying around with was actually giving you a helmet in full Kevlar on spawn.
Right.
Which could change the way players play, because if you're spawning with twice the amount of health, or armor ability, I should say, it'll definitely change how players will equip themselves, especially in the earlier rounds.
Well, that's the thing. Then you're playing Halo, and you're not playing Counter-Strike anymore, you know?
Well, you're playing Counter-Strike because you don't have regenerating shield.
Well, yeah, no, you know what I mean, though. It's just... it might be a little bit too much health, but we'll see how they work with that.
Well, I think like the NHL, they got to have a training camp to test out all the new things. And then take what's good and just put it on the side and take what's bad and just toss it in the shredder.
Agreed.
That
made
would
a
have been
really-
a fantastic segue if
If we were talking about
if
NHL
the football
11.
game was the next topic.
Or if we were talking about NHL 12, which
Yeah,
we're not.
Trevor made a fantastic segue into Counter-Strike earlier, but then decided not to talk about Counter-Strike.
Yeah,
and
because
went on
I
to
was-
talk about
About
You know,
Mortal Kombat,
let's
actually.
take
Yeah,
this
that's-
awkward segue
No, you
and
said-
segue into
You said NHL.
yes,
I'm sorry, not
NHL,
NFL.
not NFL.
Well,
It's all good.
You know
Well,
what?
it's still
You know what?
sports,
Somebody
so that
else
kind
can
of-
introduce the next topic because you know what? I'm done. I'm going to go take a break.
what? So the next topic is Mr. Free. I'm stumbling over my words all over the place. I like you just threw it on me.
It's not so
next
easy,
up
is it?
Is Mr. Freeze in Arkham City? What's up with that?
I don't know. You know what?
It's-
It is weird. I mean, I'm looking forward to Arkham City,
Cometh.
but
That's what's up with it.
it's awkward. I don't know why, and for some reason the link in the show notes is broken. No, link in show notes is broken.
next up, Madden 12 ratings. Is Peyton Hills as awesome as expected?
No.
Are we really
Next-
getting to the next topic?
Yeah, we're gonna
All
just
right.
move right along. That
We just finished the Madden topic, so next one.
Oh yeah, thanks. I could rant all day about this, but we're not going to. I'm just going to mention once again, Madden comes out the 30th. There will be plenty of tournaments if anyone wants to play me. We'll put my gamer tag in the show notes, and please, anyone can challenge me.
well, we know the gamer tag is Super Scrub, right?
Yeah, Super Scrub 631. No, it is not. But yeah, it'll be in the show notes. They came out with most of the ratings. Peyton Hillis, the cover player, is ridiculously overrated as usual, even though he didn't really have that good a season. But that's enough of that for now.
I'd like to have the job of being able to pick the ratings of players. Like, you know what, this guy didn't really make a lot of good passes, but you know we're gonna roll dice on this one. Okay, 90.
You want to
The good
know
thing
what
about
the
that is that-
want to know what the player rating guy is? A random number generator.
It is in
Define
fact not,
Rand.
but
It's typing Rand in parentheses in Excel.
it is not.
Honestly, that's how I would do it. Like, maybe just once, just do a random number generator for each player, and just put those numbers out and see what people say.
They'd be outraged. Luckily, though,
because the numbers
No,
are random, so you don't know what the numbers would be.
no, I do. No, but as a football fan, you know what the numbers are going to be, and you would know.
Gears
But,
3 D?
Good question or not question? I don't know.
Gears of War 3D
it's not a
is going to be adding 3D support, and
What you do? Black
Joy-
Ops has had 3D support. Nobody cared.
yeah. Well, I mean,
But people will care now because more people
Yeah.
have 3D TVs.
I still think
No,
I don't think it's worthwhile to pursue 3D console games yet. The technology isn't there. I mean, it's cool. It's there, but
Sorry.
I don't think it's useful. What is it?
Yeah.
Especially playing a shooter in 3D is really disorienting.
I mean,
But it's
forget
gears.
forget
Think
the
about what you chainsaw
usefulness.
some.
Forget
Yeah.
the technology. It's the fact that still very few people have 3D TVs.
Yes.
I actually got to
they're
play
out-
Black Ops in 3D at a Best Buy, and it was the most disorienting experience ever.
Hence, why you should never buy a 3D TV.
You know what? I'm
Welcome to
thinking
that same disorienting experience while just sitting back watching television.
You know what? I am gonna. My next TV, my next big TV, is going to be a 3D capable TV. But the only reason why is because it has the faster refresh rates for the 2D content. So the 2D content will look better, and it has the 3D content if I ever want to use it.
Well, I
Which
mean, are you
will.
talking about the 240 hertz thing versus 120 hertz?
Well, yeah. I mean, you see it. You can
'Cause that's
see a
not-
difference between
It's
60
not
and 240.
really 240. It's two screens at 120 hertz. So they're just for the advertising. They're adding that up. They're calling it 240 hertz, but it's not. It's
So then
just,
what?
it's
Hang,
that
Gil,
they're
Gil,
both at 120.
What are those 480 sets then?
Huh?
What are those 480
Four-
hertz sets?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
There's 480 hertz LCDs.
I have not
Next
seen any
up,
of those.
Red Steel 3, otherwise known as No More Heroes something. Paradise.
No More Heroes Paradise.
It should just be called No More Game. That's what it should be called.
Red Steel 3.
No More Heroes was good. It's not by the same people as Red Steel.
No, it's Konami.
No More Heroes Paradise for the PS3. Amazon is discounting it to $29.99 before the game is even out, and that's just without any, like, you don't have to do anything to get it. Like, you don't have to sign up for a credit card or anything. You just kind of get it for $30.
It's just cheaper.
I'm tempted to buy it.
If Amazon's hedging their bets this early on,
it's bad news.
I don't know. I mean, it's Amazon, but I feel like a lot of people don't buy games on Amazon so much. I think gamers tend to buy their games, from GameStop or Best Buy or, wherever, maybe a local store.
And on top of that, you get downloadable content for free.
That's nice.
That's when you know it's bad. Yeah.
Well, I think that's just Amazon trying to get more game sales, more new game sales than anything.
Right.
So I don't.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. When I want a new game, that's definitely not the first place I'm going. But
yeah, exactly.
Right.
I mean, when you're excited about a new game coming out, you're not going to go to Amazon and be like, oh yeah, I'm really excited about this game coming out. I'll go to Amazon. I'll get Super Saver shipping. Oh, that'll be great. It'll be here 4 weeks after everyone else is done talking about it. So no, you're not going to buy it on Amazon. You're going to go to Best Buy.
You can get release day shipping though. You can get release day shipping.
Yeah, I've bought new games on Amazon and gotten free release day shipping. And when everyone else was like, I didn't get it at midnight, but the next day I woke up and it was there, and I didn't have to go to the freaking store.
But that's the thing; it's not good enough. You need it at midnight.
I don't go to midnight launches anyway because I don't like sweaty tweenagers.
Tweenagers?
Yeah,
that's why you stand in the front of the line. Then you have to deal with them. That's what I did.
I went to Nintendo World, and the surprising thing is there were more people there that were like 18, 19 than like 12, 13.
That's because that's Nintendo.
That actually, Riggs, your statement is actually backwards than what most people would think.
Because you would think for a Nintendo event that there would be a lot of younger kids there, and surprisingly, the crowd was older.
No, that's not surprising to me at all. It's perfectly like understandable and acceptable for the hardcore Nintendo fans who would actually show up to a launch event to be older people with Nintendo nostalgia.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think Nintendo doesn't hold nearly as much weight with the younger generations as they did back in the day.
Oh, I still think they do because all their parents are buying are Nintendo. When a parent's coming in to buy a system for their anywhere from 6 years old to 12 years old, they're buying Nintendo because they know that all the content on that system is going to be appropriate. That age group is not going for the 360 or the PS3 unless their parents already have one.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that it's been very sad, but I've seen more kids with iPod Touches than anything else lately. And like every time I see that, I cringe because it's like, really?
There goes the neighborhood.
That.
You know what's even worse than that? All the kids that have iPhones that don't need them.
Oh, we're all gonna get all crotchety old men here. Let's go. Gil, you can go first.
Kids, get off my lawn.
Them kids with their iPhones. When I got my first cell phone, it was just a flip phone, and all it did was call people.
We had T9. The hell is that?
My first cell phone was just a cordless house phone, but my dad's apartment was close enough to the school that I could take the phone to school with me and still use it. But only in like half of my classes. The other side of the campus was too far away.
That's fantastic because you just get a phone call in the middle of class. Hello? No, he's not here right now.
Oh god.
Oh, we got to wrap up. Are we out of stories?
I think
we're out. I think we're out. Let's go ahead and we'll go over the calendar real quick. We do have some Multiplayer Nation coverage coming at you this weekend, courtesy of Mr. Kyle Riggs. Riggs, what tournament do we have this weekend?
Can I say that?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
The Balls Out free for all.
It's the Balls Out free for all.
That is not.
I had to make sure.
It's okay. We're allowed to say balls on this network. It's as long as you're not doing anything with the balls.
I'm kind of shocked.
What, at the tournament name?
Ladies and gentlemen, testicles. That is all.
This podcast has devolved into ball jokes and shoddy camera work.
It's. I apologize, but you did say we could say balls.
I did,
and I submit that this is all Trevor's fault.
Of course. Riggs, let's just get back to the calendar here. Riggs, what time does the coverage start, and where could they see it?
The coverage starts 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can see it right here on Twitch TV/GenGame or GenGame.net/live.
Excellent. And as far as our own live streams, we got some stuff going on throughout the week. We've got Spyro 2 and Halo. That's going to be played by Benny, one of the new staff members here. He's been doing a great job pulling in some great crowds. So be sure to check out the calendar on GenGame.net to see all the upcoming streams and events that we're going to be covering.
Yeah, I will be streaming iPod Solitaire.
Gil, do you have a 4th generation iPod Touch?
Yes.
You can get the HDMI cable kit, get a capture card, and actually stream the output from your iPod.
Please no.
I was thinking about getting it for my. I
did not know this.
I was thinking about getting it for my iPad so I could stream iPad games.
The only problem
you already have it.
I don't have a capture card that can take HDMI. I've got an HD PVR, so maybe if I switch the HDMI to like component or something.
I think you could pull that off somehow.
Trevor, you still have the.
Riggs,
Trevor, you still have the HDMI out for your Atrix, right?
Yep.
So you're going to stream Angry Birds after this, right?
Oh, I could do that. The cable's actually the cable's in the other room in the studio, and I don't really feel like getting it because it'll take me a while to find it.
It is not at all podcast appropriate, so I won't quote anything from it. But if you have not seen Sonic for Hire on MissionEva.com's YouTube channel. Oh, it is so funny.
Alrighty, you can
but it is not. It is not appropriate.
It's filed under that NSFW category. So if you guys want to get in touch with this show, there are a couple ways you can do that. First of all, you can leave a comment on the post when it goes up. It might go up a week late, but hey, it's up at some point. You could send us an email, podcast@gengame.net. You can follow us on Twitter @GenGame and tweet us out there. You can follow all 4 of us on Twitter. I am @TheMags. Mr. Gilbert is Mr. Puck. Riggs is IBRiggs19. And Scrub Status is George Picard.
Yeah. Also, you might notice that the podcast is 6 hours long.
It's not 6 hours long.
That's because we record 6 hours of content, and then, we put it out.
We loop it over and over and over.
Yeah.
It plays with your brain. I think that was an RSS issue. We're going to try to get that cleared up for the next episode, but if you want to leave us a voicemail, we love getting those voicemails, especially those ones that just have the empty, no voice, just the heavy breathing. Those are our favorite. So you could leave us a nice heavy breathing.
Oh God, please stop.
Gil, stop! You're killing me.
Ah.
Ow. Okay, now that we
and our viewer count dropped from 13 down to 5. Thanks, Gil.
Yep. I apologize.
And you can leave us a voicemail. The number is 513-GenGame. And that is
I thought
the
it was
voicemail.
531.
I thought it was 513.
It's five. It says 513 here. Man, now
It's
we're
513.
confusing everyone.
Great.
It is-
now I'm
it
gonna
is
have to call the podcast line and find out what it really is. There
You
we
want me to?
go.
I'll call the podcast line. You
No,
want
no.
me to call the podcast line? I'll call the podcast line. Is there? Oh yeah, that 513 is the area code. 513 Gen Game. Calling now.
Please state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to connect you.
Trevor Magnani. Surprisingly, the audio quality is good.
This is great. This is being recorded. Right now. This is part of the podcast.
Yes.
So happy this
All
is
right.
part of the podcast right now.
So, something happens between the ringing and you will be connected with my voice, in which case you could leave a voicemail. I thought it went directly to voicemail, but I gotta fix that. But that just about does it for the show. So, Nico, do you got any last words today? At all?
I have some last words to say. I am sorry you will not be hearing my sexy voice, but it is how it is.
What?
That's all I have to say.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
So,